Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well and dandy out there in Beatles land, YouTubers, people of the internet and the VC, members of the vinyl community. As you've probably seen, this is going to be a review of One Hand Clapping, the new Paul McCartney and Wings LP. Now I went for the double album with the additional EP, 7-inch EP. It did come on Friday, so it was here on the day of release sort of thing in the UK. But unfortunately, because I've been working, today's the first chance I've really had to look at it and play it. I have played it through 2 times, um, and this is it. This is the album. It's not a gatefold, where if you get the double CD, that is actually gatefold. So then you get 2 LPs, and there is a total of, I think it's 26 tracks. Hello, Bailey. So, like, my dog's just come in the room. It gets just to get 26 tracks on these 2 LPs, and then if you've got the version like this that's got the EP, you get a further 6 tracks. So we'll have a look what's in it. First thing we have is this. Now I'm not sure if this is a poster or what it is supposed to be, because it does come out like that, and it does come out as a poster. And then on the back you get a little bit of like a biography of, it's just the current members of Wings at this time, just with a few thoughts. And the strange thing about this is it's written in English, French and German. So I'll read what it says off this. I have not watched any videos on this One Hand Clapping whatsoever on YouTube. I haven't watched anybody's videos. I will make that clear before we get into it. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to be influenced by what other people might or might not have said about it. I'm doing this with like a clear mind. So there's a little bit of information. It says One Hand Clapping is a video documentary directed by David Litchfield concerning 5 musicians working in the recording studio. The 5 musicians were Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, Denny Lane, Jimmy McCuff and Jeff Britton. Well, Jeff Britton wasn't actually in Wings for very long, was he? He was replaced by Joe English, I think it was, and formed a rock and roll band called Wings. Also in the studio were 2 other musicians, an orchestra and a dog. And a dog. One of the musicians was called Howie Casey. Well, he was quite famous in his own right, wasn't he? And played the saxophone. The other was called Del Newman. Never heard of him. No disrespect, but I've never heard of him. And he conducted the orchestra. The dog was called Poppy and didn't really do very much at the studio. Well, that's quite funny, isn't it? The studio at number 3 Abbey Road, London, is where the Beatles recorded their first album, Please Please Me, in 1963, and the studio hasn't been painted since then. Jeff Emmick, the recording engineer, said it would ruin the acoustics. Yeah, so that's all that there. And then you've got like little quotes from this was like a new formation of Wings after Red Rose Speedway, just before the recording of Band on the Run. 2 of the original members of Wings quit the band basically. So Band on the Run was basically just Paul, Linda and Denny. And so this was like going to be a warm thing. I think they've done some recordings before this. I think they've done the Junior's Farm single and the Country Hams single, if I remember rightly. So what do you get? The thing there that's just got me thinking there is like this was supposed to be like them rehearsing old songs and new songs in a studio and recording them live. Well, why does that ring a bell? Didn't the Beatles try to do that with Get Back? So isn't this Paul going back to something they'd already tried in one way? Why this film was never put on TV or anything, I don't know. I mean, Paul McCartney was still quite a big figure, wasn't he, in 1973, 1974? You know, he'd had the massive success with the Band on the Run album. It had massive success with the Mile of single from Red Rose Speedway, and it also had massive success with Live and Let Die. You know, the sound, well, the theme song to the then new James Bond film. So why this wasn't picked up by, I don't know, the BBC in England, or, you know, what the other equivalent is in other parts of the world, I really don't know. I really do not know. You can watch some of this on YouTube, but it isn't a very good uh, film to watch. Apparently, I've watched little bits over the years, and you know, it's just one of those things. I think with the technology they've got today, they might be able to clean that footage up, and then who knows, we might get a Blu-ray or a DVD to go with this at some point, which would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. So you get that, and then you've got other information on the back there, which you probably aren't going to see. What amazes me is, if you think how big Paul McCartney was in 73, 74, Wings didn't release an album, did they, in 1974? So could this have been like their lost album from 1974? I don't know. So, side one, I'll go through the tracks. You've got One Hand Clapping. Then you've got Jet. That is actually a really good version of that, to be honest. Then you've got Soily. That is a fantastic version. Sea Moon, Little Woman, Love. That's okay. Um, Maybe I'm Amazed is absolutely fantastic. The way they've done that on here is brilliant, as is My Love. Again, I mean, they're good songs anyway, but with this lineup, you know, it just brings a bit of, what's the word, extra life to it in one way. I think my dog's gone now. Side two starts off with Bluebird. I'm a bluebird, I'm a bluebird, I'm a bluebird. Again, nice version of it. Uh, Let's Love, that's a new one on me. I can't ever remember that being on anything. Uh, All of You, again, that was quite a new one on me. I'll Give You a Ring. It's only like a short rendition of that, to be honest, so it's okay. Band on the Run on Air is, again, an excellent version of a very popular song. Live and Let Die, again, an excellent version. Probably that, dare I say it, that is probably one of my favourite songs on this album. As is the next one, 1984. Sorry, 1985. I've just been reading something on David Bowie as well, so I will apologise. Yes, 1985. Although this was recorded live in the studio later on in early January 1975, I think they did do a little bit of overdubbing on certain songs, so you've got like orchestras and stuff on it. Yeah, but that 1985 is an absolutely fantastic version. And then record one, or side two, finishes off with Babyface. Paul McCartney singing Babyface. And to be funny, I am laughing, but it is actually quite a good version of it. Then you get Let Me Roll It on side three. Again, fantastic version of that. The vocals are a little bit more raw on it, but the instrumentation suits it that way. I mean, it's a brilliant song anyway, isn't it? Let Me Roll It. Then you've got Blue Moon of Kentucky. Then you've got Power Cut, Love My Baby, Let It Be. That is a very short version of that, 1 minute and 2 seconds. Uh, and it's quite a moving version of it, to be honest, in my humble opinion. It's not as good as the Beatles version, obviously, but it is a very good version of it. And then you've got The Long and Winding Road, stroke Lady Madonna. Again, that is a good version of those two songs. Side four kicks off with Junior's Farm. Junior's Farm is one of my favourite Wings songs, to be honest, if not the favourite Wings song, as in what was released in the singles. Uh, Although this is quite a raw version of it, the energy is there all the way through. Is it better than the released version on the single? Uh, Possibly. That's all I'll say on that one. I don't want to spoil it in case none of you've heard any of these yet. Then you've got Sally G, version of Sally G. Then you've got Tomorrow. Now, Tomorrow was on the first Wings album, Once at Wings Wildlife. This is a more sort of like laid back version of it, but it is a fantastic version, and it's not as long as the version on Wildlife. 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Then we get a version of Go Now, because of course Denny Lane used to be the lead singer in the Moody Blues, and in the UK that was one of their biggest hits of the early 60s. Uh, Again, really, really nice version of it. Then you get Wildlife, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And to be honest, that is probably a little bit better than the version on the Wildlife album, in my opinion. And then it finishes off with Hi, 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 which is quite nice if you think about it, because you've got like, a bit of everything on this album. That is the track listing. So you want to look at the records. So this is the sleeves, right? And you can actually see they're just like a blank white label. I mean, there's writing on it, and that is side two. Now, I don't know how to say this without it sounding stupid, right? This was about £42, I think. I mean, Sue bought me this for Father's Day, believe it or not. And I'm surprised these aren't in polyline sleeves. I really am. The sleeves themselves are nice, don't get me wrong. It's a nice bit of artwork. But the music, I've got no problem with the music whatsoever. The contents, what's on these, I've got no problem with whatsoever. The thing that does come across a little bit is the artwork and everything, and the way it's put together is been done on the cheap. Um, Now, is that on purpose to make it look like a bootleg? Possibly. I mean, these are nice. These and the sleeves are nice, but it would have been nice to have I don't know, an Apple label on it, or a Parlophone label, or an MPL label, or something like that on it. I mean, there is writing on these, you just can't really see it on my computer, on my laptop. But the sound quality is really, really nice. Now, I don't know who's responsible for the remixes on certain songs or the remastering on certain songs. Yeah, I mean, that's lovely. The sound quality, I've got no problem with. It's just, I mean, that looks a bit creepy, to be honest, doesn't it? That, and it doesn't look like there's. I mean, there probably was a lot of thought gone into it, but it just looks a bit bootleggy. But was that the whole idea of it, to look like it was a bootleg? I don't know. Please put your thoughts in the comments. And the only thing, and again, it's a bit like some of the things that have come out just lately. Although this is double LP, and because it's not in the gatefold, and you've got, don't forget, this is double LP and a single EP, there's not much room in there. There's not really much room on it. There's the hype sticker. So the hype sticker says, Paul McCartney and Wings, one hand clapping, live studio sessions from 1974, newly remixed and available for the first time. Although this has been bootlegged, hasn't it, over the years. 2 times 180-gram vinyl plus exclusive 7-inch record, right? Recorded and remastered at Abbey Road Studios, includes Junior's Farm, Wildlife, Let It Be, and Blackpool. Right, so that is the hype. So they've technically this is the first time this has ever been released in this configuration. Now, I think some of the songs off this are, if you into your Paul McCartney archive collection, I think some of these songs have been on some of them, but I think these have been remastered or remixed. What did it say? Remastered or remixed? Uh, Remastered. It's not been remixed, it's been remastered. Now you could get this double album without this single or EP. I'm going to call it an EP because there's 6 tracks on it. Now this made that album about £3 or £4 more than the standard double album. Now to me, £4 the EP, and you can't get this anywhere else. You could only get it in this album that said it was in. How much did we pay for Now and Then, the Beatles single? I think I paid about £14 for mine for 2 tracks. So you pay an extra £4 and you're getting 6 songs. I say 6 songs, they're not. Are they fully formed songs or are they snippets of songs? I'll leave that up to you. Um, the songs you get are Blackpool. I'd never heard of the song Blackpool. It is actually quite a catchy little song. Then you've got a version of Blackbird, the classic Beatles track from the White Album. And then you've got Country Dreamer. Now, Blackbird on side one is probably the standout track. I mean, it's always like an acoustic song anyway, wasn't it? But Paul does actually perform that really, really nice. And I think most of these are just Paul on his own with either a piano or a guitar. So it's sort of like going back to his roots there into with Country Dreamer, country music, which was a B-side, wasn't it, Country Dreamer? And Blackbird, like I say, Blackpool, I'd never heard that before, so I can't really um, say much about it. It is a nice song though. Side two, you get I'm Too Tired to Rock, which is actually 24 rock, 20 like rock. So why they put it under a different title, I don't know. And it's actually quite a good version of it. Then you've got Peggy Sue. Ah, you think August 1974? That's about the same time John was working on his rock and roll album, wasn't it? And John did a version of Peggy Sue on that, didn't he? Is that just coincidence? Yeah, of course it is. And then it finishes off with I'm Gonna Love You Too. So yeah, so that's Paul. I mean, 20 Flight Rock was the song that got Paul into the then Quarrymen, wasn't it? Who became the Beatles. Peggy Sue, and I'm Gonna Love You Too. Classic Buddy Holly songs. Paul has always been a really, really big fan of Buddy Holly, hasn't he? So don't forget, if you've ordered this and you didn't order it with this in, you're missing out. Are they essential to this collection? Probably not in one way, but they are nice to have. And it does say artist wings, producer Paul McCartney, engineers Jeff Emmerich. I think that says on the back. So that is all that. So what do you think? Have you got this album? If you've got it on vinyl, did you manage to get it with this exclusive EP? Um, I think this is the one where people on certain selling sites have probably bought this and they're going to try and sell this for like 20 or £30, maybe £40, maybe even £50 on their own. And there will be people that will buy it when they realise that they can't get it anywhere else, especially if you're completist. So all in all, I'm very, very happy with this. Um, like I say, the sound quality on it is amazing. It really is amazing. And it is just a shame that we've had to wait 50 years to get this officially. Yes, there has been bootlegs and things out before. So what does it say on the back? It says Paul McCartney, vocals, bass, piano, electric piano, Hammond organ, harmonium, acoustic guitar, Linda McCartney, Moog, electric piano, mellotron, tambourine, and backing vocals. Tambourine. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. Danny Lane, vocals, electric guitar, and acoustic guitar. I'm surprised he's not playing piano because he's a good piano player, isn't he? Jimmy McCulloch, electric guitars and backing vocals, and Jeff Gutton drums. So yeah, it is a really, really nice package. Only thing that lets it down slightly, and I mean this in a nice way, I'm not criticising it because maybe this wasn't really a lot of money when you think how much records are there. Um, this cover could have been done slightly better, probably. I mean, that's a bit creepy, isn't it? Or is that just me? Um, I don't know. I would have preferred to have like maybe a still of them actually, the Wings lineup in the studio as cover. But that's just my thoughts. You might think that's the best piece of artwork you've ever seen. Would I encourage you to go out and buy this LP if you haven't got it? Definitely. If you like Paul McCartney and Wings, or you a Beatles fan or a Denny Lane fan or whatever, you've got to have this. In my opinion, you've got to have this. If you buy it on CD, you don't get the extra tracks that are on the EP either. So the only time you will ever get those songs are if it says it on the hype sticker that it's included. And like I say, I think it was about £3 or £4 extra to have it with that EP. Um, but yeah, um, I think it's marvellous, and I would say that is the Lost Wings album from 1974. You know, it's very reminiscent in some ways of the Beatles and the Get Back Stroke Let It Be sessions. No, let's go into the studio and record everything we're doing, sort of thing. This is probably slightly better than some of the things on the Get Back album, Get Back sessions. Don't get me wrong, but it's the same sort of like idea, isn't it? And I am really surprised that this was never picked up by the TV stations at the time. I think if this would have been put on TV in early 1975, just before they started the world tour, I think that would have boosted that as well. Um, but that again, that is just my thoughts. Overall, very very happy. What would I give this out of 10? Uh, Even though I don't particularly like the artwork, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I would still give it a 10 out of 10. You know, that is how highly I would recommend this. If you're thinking of buying it and you can afford to get it on vinyl, get it on vinyl. If you're on a budget and you can only afford to get it on CD, get it on CD. I am sure you will love the songs or the versions of the songs that are on here. Some people are going to say it's a load of crap and it should never have been released, which, if you listen to the bootlegs that have come out of this over the years, then yeah, that is the case. It was unreleased for a reason at that time. But now it's been all cleaned up and remastered. It's a cracking, I was going to say cracking little album, but it's not really, is it? Because it's two albums and an EP. It's a cracking timepiece of where Paul McCartney and Wings were in 1974. And like I say, because they never released an album, did they, in 1974, Wings? So, that's, I can understand why they wanted to do something. It's just a shame this didn't come out at the time. Nice little timepiece, honestly, it really is a nice timepiece. And Paul is in good spirits all the way through this. There's a little bit of chatter in some places. Uh, yeah, it's good. It's good. Bear in mind, some of the songs on weren't even a year old, were they? Like Band on the Run and Jet and things like that weren't even a year old when they were like doing new versions of them. Yeah, so yeah, highly entertaining album to listen to. Really is really, really highly entertaining album to listen to. So that is my thoughts um, on this one hand clapping, and I am going to say it again. Highly, highly recommend if you're thinking of buying this, get it. Um, will it be considered one of Paul McCartney and Wings' greatest albums ever? Probably not. To be honest, probably not. But it's where they were at the time, and Jeff Britton wasn't in the band for very long, was he? I think he did one. Technically, he did one single, or two if you count the Country Hams. Is it the Country Hams single? Uh, so yeah, go out and buy. Go out and buy. I'm not endorsed by anybody to say that either. Sue brought me this from Paul McCartney's site. Was here on Friday. Today was the first time I've had a chance to listen to it. Because of my work commitments, I will apologise. There's no Beatle Dave's Twist and shout outs today, except you guys out there. Thank you to everybody that is subscribing, leaving me messages and comments and supporting the channel and leaving me likes. It is very much appreciated. Uh, Thank you to subscribers old and new. You all mean the world to me. Remember, you are the Beatle Dave, and on this channel, splendid time is guaranteed for all. And if you listen to this, you'll have a splendid time. Honestly, you will have a splendid time listening to this. Is it a bit of a curio? Possibly. I mean, I'd never, apart from the really, really crappy bootlegs we got out, years ago, and I think I had some of these on a cassette. like a bootleg cassette thing, and the sound quality was nowhere near as good as it is on here. So all these people that say, "Oh, it's all been out before," technically it hasn't. I mean, yes, it has in inferior quality. This is a top quality product, um, and as fans, don't we want this sort of thing? Something that hasn't been out before or hasn't officially been out before. I mean, no disrespect, but how many times can you re-release Band on the Run? How many times can you re-release Let It Be? How many times can you re-release Revolver? You know, I'm not knocking it, because there is in certain things on that they do it in a box set and you're getting extra things as well. But that is good. I think that is the sort of things that we would like to see more of. And if they can do this, the Paul McCartney and Wings one, if you're watching Danny Harrison and Olivia, how about trying to clean up George's 1974 American concert? I know his voice wasn't in brilliant, condition when he did that tour, but wouldn't it be nice to, you know, finally get that officially released? Again, you can get it on bootlegs, and the sound quality on them is absolutely dreadful. And I do mean it. I did have it, and I think I ended up selling mine years ago. Well, I did sell it years ago. Um, yeah, something like that. So it does prove what can be done with the technology we've got today. Again, they're on about this John Lennon one-to-one thing's supposed to be coming out later in the year. Are we going to get the one-to-one concert remastered? Be nice, wouldn't it? Cheers, by the way. Beatle Dave, like and subscribe. So that's my thoughts on this one-hand clapping. Emphasise again, if you haven't got it, I would recommend that you do. I don't know how long this is going to be in print for. Um, a lot of these things that are coming out are promoted as being limited editions. That one's limited edition because it's got the 7-inch single with it, or EP. Uh, worth every penny. I think it was about £42 with the EP. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I've played it a couple of times, and I can't really pick fault with it apart from the artwork is a little bit dodgy. Um, but that is just in my opinion. It's still a fantastic thing to have. So whatever you're doing, uh, please stay safe. If you're not subscribed, just think about subscribing. It is free. It takes you 1 second to press that subscription button. And the more subscribers they get, the more we can promote the channel to other people. And it doesn't just promote my channel, it promotes other people's channels that are similar to mine. So until the next time, it's Beatley Dave wishing you all peace, love and happiness, and happy Father's Day, by the way. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. So until the next time, peace, love and happiness to you all. Cheerio. Bye bye.